The first snowstorm of December had already swallowed half the little mountain town of Aspen Ridge, but the cold wasn't what made Michael's hands tremble that night. It was the sight of her, standing beneath the soft glow of Christmas lights, framed by the wooden cabin behind her, waiting with a hope she had stopped admitting out loud. Her lips parted, eyes shimmering with something between longing and fear, and when she finally spoke, her voice carried a quiet storm of its own. She said, "I didn't dress up for nothing, Santa." In that moment, Michael's breath stilled, his pulse kicked, and he understood something he'd been running from for far too long. He replied, "Good. I came for you." And it wasn't a line, it wasn't a joke, it was the truth. Before we go deeper, if you believe in kindness, healing, and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps us keep these heartfelt stories alive. Michael Hartman had never expected to see Claire Dalton again, not after the way life had forced them apart 2 winters ago. Back then, he was a firefighter recovering from a nearly fatal accident that left him limping through therapy, trapped in the guilt of a rescue gone wrong. Claire was the woman who had cared for him, encouraged him, believed in him when he couldn't believe in himself. They were close, too close. So close that the possibility of losing her felt more terrifying than facing the flames that almost took his life. And so Michael made the worst mistake of his life. He walked away without offering a reason, believing she deserved someone whole, someone unbroken. He never forgot her face the night he left. Confusion first, then hurt, then that quiet, shattered resignation she thought he didn't notice. But Michael noticed everything. Life didn't get better after that. Healing didn't come with distance. It came with regret and with the realization that pushing her away didn't protect her. It only ensured she'd face the world without the one person who should have stood by her. Tonight, seeing her again, standing outside the Christmas lodge wrapped in soft lights and pine-scented air, Michael felt time fold back into place. Claire had changed. Her confidence had grown sharper, her beauty more mature, her presence calmer but undeniably colder, like someone who had learned to survive alone. She wore a fitted black top, a deep red skirt that swayed against the soft winter breeze, and her hair, pulled back into a loose ponytail, caught the warm lights in strands of gold. She looked festive, stunning, and heartbreakingly distant. Michael had been invited to the lodge by mutual friends for a holiday charity event he almost skipped, until he heard Claire was on the organizing committee and would be here tonight. Something in him refused to run again. He arrived in a Santa suit because it was part of the charity theme, but now, standing before her, he felt ridiculous. She watched him with unreadable eyes, and he could tell she was fighting the urge to either laugh or walk away. The hardest part wasn't seeing her again. It was realizing she still cared enough to dress up, just in case. Claire didn't speak again immediately. Her chest rose and fell with slow, careful breaths, like she was steadying herself. Behind her, the Christmas tree lights blinked in red and gold, casting reflections across her face. Michael noticed the tiny tremor in her fingers. She wasn't as unaffected as she pretended. Michael stepped closer, careful not to startle her. Memories wrapped around him like invisible tinsel, nights spent talking until dawn, moments where she traced the scars on his arm without fear, the sound of her laughter echoing through the hospital hallways when he complained about physical therapy. He had lost all that. No. He had thrown it away. The wind picked up, brushing snowflakes across Claire's hair. Michael swallowed hard, his voice low but steady. He told her he came back for her, not for the party, not for the charity event. Not because of an invitation he couldn't refuse. He came because he finally understood that no amount of time, distance, or pain could diminish what they had. Claire blinked slowly, her gaze finally softening, though skepticism still lingered. She looked away as if gathering her thoughts. Then she stepped to the side, motioning for him to follow her into the warm glow of the lodge's porch light. The air between them thickened with nostalgia and unspoken words. Inside, people laughed, music played, and the smell of cinnamon drifted through the air, but none of it touched the moment between them. They stood apart from the crowd, two souls suspended between past pain and present possibility. Claire spoke first, her voice steady but filled with old wounds. She said she didn't dress up for nothing because she wanted tonight to feel special. She wanted closure, or maybe just answers. Michael listened without interruption. Every word she said hit him with the weight of what he had cost them. She explained how she waited for him to reach out, believing his silence was temporary, that he was healing or figuring himself out. But days turned into months, and she realized he wasn't coming back. Michael felt the guilt roll through him, thick and suffocating. He told her the truth. He told her about the nightmares, the constant fear of disappointing her, the belief that she deserved someone stronger. He admitted that every day after leaving her felt like trying to breathe through thick smoke, choking on regret he created himself. He explained how seeing her smile in memories used to comfort him until it started hurting more than the physical scars he carried. Claire's expression softened as he spoke, her eyes shifting with something warmer. She said she never needed him to be perfect. She only needed him to stay. That simple sentence hit harder than any fire he had ever faced. A soft hush settled between them as the event continued around them. Snow fell gently. Outside the window, dusting the world in soft white. Michael reached for her hand slowly, giving her space to pull back if she wanted to. She didn't. Her fingers slid into his with a trembling acceptance that made his chest ache with hope. He whispered that he didn't come dressed as Santa to play a part or entertain the crowd. He came to show her he wasn't hiding anymore, that he was done running from what scared him most, losing her again. She looked up at him then, her eyes soft and shining with tears. She tried to blink away. And in that silent moment he could feel the barrier she'd kept around her heart begin to crack. But love, real love, takes more than confession. It takes willingness, courage, the decision to try again. They walked out onto the lodge patio together, where the air was quiet and the world felt still. Claire leaned lightly against the wooden railing, watching the snowflakes tumble through the night. Michael stood beside her, close but respectful, warming the space between them with his presence. She told him that forgiving him wasn't easy, that trusting him again would take time, but she admitted something he didn't expect. She never stopped loving him. Even when she tried to convince herself she had moved on, some part of her always wondered why he wasn't beside her for holidays, birthdays, or quiet Sunday mornings. Hearing that broke him in the gentlest way. Michael stepped closer, his breath merging with hers in the cold air. He told her he was willing to earn her trust back every single day. Not with grand gestures, but with consistency, with honesty, with staying even when life got difficult. Claire looked up at him again, searching his face for signs of doubt. There were none, only sincerity softened by vulnerability. Slowly, she rested her forehead against his chest, and he wrapped his arms around her, holding her as though anchoring her to a future he no longer feared. The Christmas lights twinkled above them, the tree glowing with golden ornaments, and the distant laughter from inside made the night feel softer, warmer, more hopeful. This wasn't a perfect reunion. It wasn't a fairy tale kiss where all problems disappeared. It was something more real, two broken hearts choosing to heal together. And that was enough. As the snow continued to fall, painting the night with quiet wonder, Michael whispered that he came for her because she was the only person who ever made him feel like he deserved a second chance at life. Claire lifted her head, her smile small but genuine, and told him that maybe this time the timing was finally right. And standing there, wrapped in warmth and possibility, they both felt something shift, like a door opening, like prayers being answered, like love returning home. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and help this channel keep creating emotional stories that bring us all a little closer. Before we end, special request, comment below with "Believe in Second Chances" if you felt the emotions of this story.